Hello there. This is the week 4 battle between me and Nate in the PCL. I would not normally make videos like these, but after what happened this week, Christ, I feel like I should document this somewhere. So, as you can see here, this is my team on the left. It's looking pretty snazzy if I say so myself. I've got a few sets here that could be useful against Nate, just sort of out of left wing, but also really standard sets. The only one that's not really weird is probably Dragonite, but you'll see that in a second. So, as we lead off, he leads off with Arcanine, which is actually one of the ones I feared the most, which is actually why I built this Dragonite in the first place. Because I knew he thought I was going to be physical, he's going to use Will-O-Wisp, but that doesn't matter to me. So instead, I go for defensive variants with special attacks, Hurricane, Ice Beam, Toxic, and Roost. Because I felt like I could sort of use it as like a sort of pseudo-Lugia thing. Anyway, he obviously susses that out, goes into Diancie, expecting something. Hurricane, probably not the best choice there, but it did get confused, so I'm okay with that. Obviously, I do not want to keep my Dragonite in on a Diancie, so out comes Suicune, because I can't think what Diancie can even do to that. Luckily, he does hit himself, and decides to go out into the Thunderous. I was kind of expecting that, so I go straight into a Roar, just kind of a disorient him, really. He has, well, options at this point. I probably shouldn't have gone for Roar, really, but it doesn't really matter. He goes for a Bulldoze, which kind of tells me this is really kind of a techie Arcanine set. I don't really know what I was expecting, to be honest. Goes for the Scald, and at this point, he's not going to win. The Poison actually helps a lot here, so I'm glad I managed to get that off at the very least. So this is just a case of scalding until he goes down or switches out, and that's exactly what he does. Goes back into Thunderous. Does a decent chunk of damage to Thunderous, so I can deal with that later. And decide to go into my Aromatisse, which is really light and doesn't really fear anything Thunderous has to throw at it, apart from Sludge Wave, but that's a really weird tech. I don't know why he'd bring that against my team. I don't know what I was expecting. I decided to go for Aromatherapy just in case. Just to kind of get that residual damage off of Dragonite so I can get Multiscale back up. He goes back into Diancie and I get off that Wish. Just kind of wondering what to do here. I go back out into my Diamond Dog and try and figure out what I want to do from here. I wasn't expecting him to attack, so the Wish is kind of wasted, but it's not really that important. He goes back into Arcanine, obviously expecting a kill, and that is not what happens. I was expecting him to stay in or go into something else. This doesn't really matter, Arcanine can't really do anything to me. Extreme Speed does absolutely nothing, and Scald will just kill its next turn. So, point 1 to me. Now, if I remember correctly, he goes into... what does he go into? Is it Venusaur? Might be Venusaur. No, it's Thunderous. Obviously looking for the revenge kill here. Not really want to deal with that. Now, I make a really stupid play here, go into Dragonite. Really shouldn't have done that, to be honest. That was an extraordinarily stupid play. And Dragonite ends up going down. The only good thing is he ends up losing quite a bit of health from Life Orb, and he's an easy KO range for Heffalump, so that's exactly why I bring him out. I decided to just go straight for an Ice Shard because that's a fairly safe move regardless of what he sends out. At this point I was kind of wondering, will it quick kill, will it not? I decided to go for it and it does, which is useful because Heffalump puts in a lot of work against this team, so I was kind of wary about preserving it. He goes out into Venusaur, and obviously I can't do anything about that because Mega Venusaur is fat as hell. I go out into Bubonic and try to sort of figure out what he's going to do. I didn't really have a proper switch in for this, so I decided to send a Bubonic and just kind of see what happens. Throw out a Wish, and then just try and make something work off of that. Honestly, probably could have gone to Mega Alakazam at some point, but it didn't really matter. There's the Petal Blizzard, which is a physical Venusaur set, which is weird tech, if I do say so myself. So he's going to keep doing that. I kind of figured he wouldn't do that. I don't know what I was expecting, but I decided to go for the Roar and take out his boosts, which is always nice. He goes into Sharpedo, which can do absolutely nothing to me. And I actually have a little tech for this thing as well. It wasn't specifically for this thing. He did have a Mega Hooper. A Mega Hooper? Hooper Unbound. That I was really fearing, so this is why I've got a certain move on Suicune that you'll see in a bit. He keeps on using Poison Jab, probably trying to get the poison. I should have just killed him at this point. I'm just kind of stalling out for no particular reason. I know I can kill him with my move. He goes for Poison Jab and does get the poison, which is what he was hoping for. And here's the tech, Signal Beam. You don't see that all too often, but I think I could make it work, and I'm glad it did something at the very least. At this point I'm expecting him to go back into Thunderous, and I'm pretty sure I just let Suicune die here. Yes. Just in case, I think he was predicting me to switch off into Mamoswine. I decided against that, because Suicune can't really do anything to anything you see there. Poison probably would have been nice, but you have to deal with that sort of thing later. And now, going to Mamoswine, Ice Shard, easy business. There's Latias. I decided I wanted to keep Mamoswine around for later on in the battle, just in case, so I decided to go into Aromatisse. And he uses Reflect type to give himself a Fairy typing, which is really annoying. Luckily, I do have, well, a couple of moves. I can't remember if I have Toxic on this set or not. I'll have to check at the end of the video. There's me a Papa Berry, getting that back up. I decided to go back into Heffalump, and this is a gamble. He does use Side Shock. I do just about scrape it. There's the Wish. I get my health back, and I'm in a good position at that point. He uses Surf, just enough to survive it. I go for Knockoff. Might not have been the best move in the world, but it does get rid of his lefties at the very least. Mamoswine goes down, I go back into Aromatisse, and then I have to try and figure out what I'm going to do from here. I've got a few options here. I think my main thing is just trying to weaken Latias enough so I can KO it with something like Alakazam. Now, I go for a Wish. I see for this damage I can survive a Side Shock, but he gets a bloody crit. And I can't survive that. Obviously. I had Protect on that set and everything, so if I just protected, we would be sitting pretty. I would be able to stall him out at the very least. So, sorry. So here we go into Alakazam, and here we begin the stall war. Because he doesn't resist Psychic anymore, I can just spam that forever. I decide I'm just going to keep on setting up subs and Psychics and things. Except, no, that doesn't actually happen, I'm misremembering. This is where we sort of get locked into a bit of a war. I'm using Psychic, he's using Recover, and I don't get a single crit or special defense drop for like 7 solid turns. We're just here, sitting here, trying to get the recovery up, trying to make any sort of headway whatsoever. And I think after this one, he doesn't heal. It leaves him in KO range from here. Wait, no, that's the next turn. Eventually, I do get the Psychic off. Decent roll on that. He keeps going. I think he's trying to make it so I have to survive on a high roll. He uses Surf at that point. And I go for a Psychic here. Do get the crit. It might have killed it without the crit, which isn't really an issue, but well, it is what it is, I suppose. Send out Venusaur. I use a Psychic. Does a huge chunk of damage to Venusaur. And at this point, it's plain sailing. It's plain sailing. All I have to do is just hit it with Terrakion. I don't have Earthquake, but it should be fine. I go for Stone Edge, and I miss. He uses Synthesis. I'm Choice Scuffed. I can't use any other moves now. Do that again. This time it hits, gets him down 2 damage, just about survive the Petal Blizzard. All I have to do is hit him one more time, and I bloody miss again. And I lose. This entire game came down to 2 misses. I made a bad play of Dragonite in sending it in on Thunderous, and I probably could have played a little bit better at a couple of occasions, but this is why no one takes competitive Pokemon seriously. So these are the sets for the battle, fairly standard ones as you can see, like store ones on Suicune and Aromatisse, sort of a semi-one on Dragonite, and just regular offensive sets on Mamoswine, Terrakion, and Mega Alakazam. I did have Choice Scarf and Terrakion, that's mainly for speed boosted Sharpedo. It can kill at +1, and that's what I was preparing for. I do have quite a lot of tech, Signal Beam. I also actually originally had X-Scissor on Terrakion as well. That was mainly for Hooper Unbound, which I was actually fearing quite a lot because I don't see what my team can even do to this. In my original roster, at least, anyway. That's kind of what my thinking was. I had to have max speed on Heffalump just in case he decided to go that on Hooper because they have the exact same speed stat. And aside from that, that's pretty much everything really. I'm a little bit annoyed that my sets didn't really work out, and the fact that I came so close to winning and I lost it because of some stupid statistics is annoying. It's really annoying, but what can you do? I've still got a pretty decent record, but, well, sometimes you just gotta deal with it, you know? Okay, this has been Jamie. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.